Good day everyone, my name is Lovely K.A. Montalia. I am the reporter of the day and my report is entitled Defense Mechanism. What is defense mechanism? Defense mechanisms are behaviors people use to separate themselves from unpleasant events, actions, or thoughts. These psychological strategies may help people put distance between themselves and the threats of unwanted feelings such as guilt and shame. Defense mechanism, Freud believed that the feeling of anxiety results from the ego's inability to mediate the conflict between the ID and superego. When this happens, Freud believed that the ego seeks to restore balance through various protective measures known as defense mechanism. When certain events, feelings, or yearnings cause an individual anxiety, the individual wishes to reduce that anxiety. To do that, the individual's anxious mind uses ego defense mechanism. Anxious protective behaviors that aim to reduce anxiety. The ego usually conscious resorts to anxious strivings to protect the ego from being overwhelmed by anxiety. When we use defense mechanism, we are unaware that we are using them. Further, they operate in various ways that distort reality. According to Freud, we are all ego defense mechanisms. According to Carl Roger, humanistic perspective as the third force in psychology, humanism is touted as a reaction both to the pessimistic determinism of psychoanalysis with its emphasis of psychological disturbance. One of Roger's main ideas about personality regards self-concept, our thoughts and feelings about ourselves. How would you respond to questions, who am I? If your response can show how you see yourself, if your response is primarily positive, it means you are happy. And you tend to feel good about who you are, and you see the world as a safe and positive place. If your response is mainly negative, then you may feel unhappy with who you are. Rogers further divided the self into two categories, the ideal self and the real self. What is the difference between two? The ideal self is the person that you would like to be. On the other side, the real self is the person who actually are. Rogers focused on the idea that we need to achieve the consistency between these two selves. We experience congruence when our thoughts about our real self and ideal self. The self-image is different to the ideal self. There is only a little overlap. Here, self-actual situation will be default, while congruent, the self-image is similar to the ideal self. There is more overlap. This person can self-actualize. These are the examples of real self and ideal self. For real self, I'm emotionally hurt. I'm afraid of being vulnerable. I'm angry. I'm ashamed of my behavior. While ideal self, I should never be vulnerable. Others shouldn't make me angry. I should always be in control. High congruence leads to a greater sense of self-worth and a healthy, productive life. Parents can help their children achieve this by giving them unconditional positive regard or unconditional love. According to Rogers, as a person are accepted and prized, they tend to develop a more caring attitude towards themselves. Conversely, when there is a great discrepancy between our ideal and actual self, we experience a state Rogers called incongruence, which can lead to maladjustment. Rogers' theories focus on individual choices and do not believe that biology is deterministic.